knows about the policies very closely, worked once upon a time very closely with high ranked officers. GTA में अफोर्डेबल होम प्राइसेस एक जो है उसके ऑथर हैं, बुक के ऑथर भी हैं. रेगुलरली वो लोग जो पढ़ने के शौकीन हैं, हमारे यहाँ के जो बिज़नेस पेपर्स हैं, रियल स्टेट पेपर्स हैं, उनमें इनके आर्टिकल्स भी पढ़ते हैं. वी आर ऑलवेज ब्लेस्ड टू हैव स्कॉट डेवी विद अस फ्रॉम डेवी रियलिटी के साथ. स्कॉट डील्स विद द बिल्डर्स. And I am talking about one of the tallest building in Brampton, and that is the Bristol Place. Although Scott has, with his builders, many plans and many sites, not only in Brampton but in Mississauga, in Markham, and in so many other places. Scott, I welcome you to the show. Thank you very much for being with us.
It's a pleasure to be with you today, Rifa. It's an exciting place to be here at 7:70 a.m.
Thank you very kindly. Scott is getting younger day by day by day by day by day. And what is the वो क्या कहते हैं, राज क्या है इसकी फिटनेस का? I believe he lives in an apartment because most of the time he spends in the gym. Is that right?
No, I'm actually in a house.
You must have a gym downstairs. Scott Davie is with me. He works with, at the moment we are going to talk about the home prices and the apartment prices and how this mortgage is going to affect. And of course, and then there is something special going on this Wednesday, बुध के दिन में. I only want you to invest your time. आपसे मेरी सिर्फ रिक्वेस्ट ये है कि आप अपना वक्त इन्वेस्ट कीजिएगा. Come to the site. आप come on Thursday, Friday, not Friday, Friday is closed. Thursday, Saturday or Sunday. Come to the location, come on the site. Look at the floor plans. Yes, Scott, I shared that analysts expect Bank of Canada's speed up interest rate. How this, in which direction this marketing is going on? I think in 1 month I have seen change. It's 180 degrees change in just 1 month. What would you say?
Well, this beautiful weather we're seeing, these sunny days, reminds me that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and we're about to come out of this tunnel that we've been in now for about 2 years, since the interest rates have begun climbing. And I'm excited to talk to you today, first about what brought us here, and then where things are going when it comes to interest rates in the real estate market.
Okay, so where the interest rates are going and where the real estate market will end up, would you please explain it to us?
Sure, but before we understand where we're going, we need to know what brought us here. So, basically, we've never had a time like this before, ever, where we have an energy crisis, a food crisis, and a housing crisis all at the same time here in Canada. I've never seen this before. And we know that high taxes like the carbon tax are responsible for the energy crisis. We know that high energy costs are part of what's causing the food crisis, but also the federal government was trying to get farmers to reduce fertilizer by 30%, which when you have less fertilizer, you have less food. Less food, supply and demand means higher prices for food. So
it's the whole chain.
It's a whole chain of things. And of course, we know that with the housing crisis, as I wrote in my book, the GTA Affordable Home Ownership Crisis, the problem with housing is that we have a shortage of housing, we have a shortage of supply, and we have too much demand. The demand is driven by overwhelming immigration. 250,000 new Canadians was the normal number before the change in the federal government that we have now in their policy, and we couldn't keep up at 250,000 new Canadians, and now, as you know, this year and last year it's about 2.2 million new Canadians coming. But basically, what's behind this problem, the real root that you're not hearing about in the mainstream media, is government spending. That's why we have all this inflation. It's incredible, that in 2020, during COVID, the federal government went 30% above the ceiling that they were allowed to spend in the budget, and everyone just sat quietly and didn't say a word. And then, after such an excessive expansion in government spending, You would think the next step would be then contract the government spending dramatically. But what do? They increase it another $90 billion deficit after that. And then every year since then, another $40 billion deficit. So we have this economic policy to expand government like there's no tomorrow. And to put things in perspective, we're now paying $54 billion a year on interest on the federal debt, which is more than healthcare transfers to the provinces. And that's normally the biggest expense, is the healthcare transfers. So that's like saying you're paying more on your credit card, the interest on your credit card, you're paying more for that than you are for your mortgage. So the government has completely gone out of control with government spending, which has created this crazy inflation, which has brought us to where we are. So, the main thing is with the pause in consumer confidence, the main driver that's obvious to everyone is the dramatic rise in interest rates. That's what cooled us. And then we also have economic uncertainty. Whenever there's going to be a federal election in Canada or the US, there's unsureness in what's going to happen in the future. So that also, over the years, we always see a little bit of a pause and slower sales during those times as well. And then the third thing is we have two wars going on where we have a nuclear power in each of the two wars, which again creates economic uncertainty and the safety basically of people. So these things are basically what are causing the pause in consumer confidence right now. So we know that government debt, high taxes, record immigration, a shortage of zoned land, and a shortage of skilled tradesmen are the negative impactors driving our economy right now, impacting the real estate industry. The positive factors are the supply chain issues now have improved. There's a general strong demand for goods. Immigration's impact on the demand for real estate, goods, and non-government funded services are also a positive factor. And now the unemployment rate has returned to about 6.5% from a high of 13.7% in May of 2020. And of course, there's a savings cushion. Many people have savings, so that savings cushion also really helps as well. So basically, that's where we're at with that's what has brought us here.
बहुत शुक्रिया. If you don't mind, and I know you deal with so many South Asians, you must understand what I'm going to say now. 3 फैक्टर्स हैं जो हमें इस जगह के ऊपर लेके आए. नंबर 1, आपको पता ही है कि जब कोविड आया था तो गवर्नमेंट ने इसको पैसा दे, उसको बेशुमार स्पेंड किया. 30% अबव सीलिंग, यानी जो गवर्नमेंट की एक एक्सट्रीम इंतहाई सतह थी उससे 30% ज़्यादा हमारे फेडरल गवर्नमेंट ने स्पेंड किया. फिर उसके बाद हम डेफिसिट में यानी खसारे में चले गए. 90% खसारा, फिर पता चला 40% और खसारा एक और हो गया. यानी फिर हमारी गवर्नमेंट्स भी चलती हैं तो बैंकों से कर्ज़ा लेके चलती हैं. फेडरल गवर्नमेंट ने जब बैंकों को कर्ज़ा वापस किया तो ये तकरीबन $54 बिलियन जो था वो कर्ज़ की अदायगी करते थे, सिर्फ सूद पे करते थे, असल दर पे ही नहीं कर पाते थे. जिसकी वजह से जब इतना इंटरेस्ट फेडरल गवर्नमेंट ने पे करना शुरू कर दिया, कोविड में हमें निकालने के लिए, लोगों को घर में रिलीफ देने के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने ये किया था. और फिर आपको पता है फ्रॉम नोवेयर इलेक्शन भी कॉल कर लिए थे, जिसकी वजह से हम इन्फ्लेशन में चले गए. पहली कॉज आ गई. उसके बाद दुनिया में 2 जंगें भी हो रही हैं, जिसमें एक यूक्रेन और रशिया की वॉर है. और फिर आपको पता ही है कि इस वक्त जो मिडल ईस्ट की आग लगी हुई है वो भी आप तमाम लोगों के सामने में है. इसी असना में जब फेडरल गवर्नमेंट आई तो ट्रूडो साहब की लिबरल्स ने बेशुमार इमिग्रेंट्स को बुलाया. बाय द वे मैं आपको बताना चाहती हूँ, देयर इज़ वन स्ट्राइक गोइंग ऑन इन ग्वाल्फ यूनिवर्सिटी. प्रोफेसर्स ने पढ़ाने से इनकार करूँगा. वो कहते हैं कि दे ब्रॉट सो मेनी स्टूडेंट्स इन ग्वाल्फ यूनिवर्सिटी दैट दे डोंट हैव दैट मच फैसिलिटी देयर कि जितने स्टूडेंट्स आ गए, दे शुड हैव हायर्ड मोर टीचर्स इन देयर. तो इट्स नॉट ओनली स्टूडेंट्स, हर कैटेगरी के बीच में इमिग्रेंट्स जो है वो जब ज़्यादा आए तो ये तमाम के तमाम फैक्टर्स बने जिन फैक्टर्स में हम आज बैठे हुए हैं। मगर अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अल्टीमेटली एक चीज़ जो बहुत ज़्यादा इफ़ेक्ट की मुझे, पियर पॉलिएव वाज हियर, हमारे ऑफिस में भी थे, और मुझे याद है वो भी ही वाज सेइंग एंड ही वाज एम्फसाइजिंग कि रादर देन पेइंग पीपल, इन अदर वर्ड्स, अगर आप कार्बन टैक्स को ही ओन कर लेते हैं ना तो आपका पेट्रोल सस्ता हो जाएगा। पेट्रोल सस्ता होगा तो आपकी एशियाई खुर्दोनोश जो है वो सस्ती हो जाएगी। Am I right or wrong, sir? यही बात उन्होंने की थी। So now things are going in the positive direction and yes, अगर आप देखिए तो मार्केट जिस सिमत में जा रही है, again I know this time I believe so this will be even worse than whatever was 2017, 18. Too many biddings because people are have to buy homes. There's so many immigrants coming and they're bringing cash, like they're bringing too much money with them.
It's too much demand.
Demand is too much. Okay, so rather than paying rent, so it's better to own your own home. What else would you like to tell us at the moment if we talk about? Of course, if I think, okay, I go and I buy, I can start from somewhere and I want to buy a condominium and I want to settle in Brampton. The only thing what I would say, it's close to all amenities. Another thing what I would say, it is the tallest building in the Brampton. Why it is important to know about the builder and the project in the Brampton and what is now for the people?
Well, I think just before we touch on that, I just wanted to touch on where things are going to go now and why, right? So, obviously we've seen amazing debt federally. Back before this administration started in Canada, we had $616 billion total debt, and now it's $1.4 trillion. So it's more than doubled. So what we really need is to see a change in economic policy, both in Canada and the United States. And with these elections coming in both Canada and the U.S., we're expecting, I think, in March to have a Canadian federal election, and obviously it's only a few weeks away in the U.S. So once we see an economic policy change in Canada and the United States, and depending on what happens in the United States, we could see a quick end to the two major war that's going on right now, based on past performance of one of the people running. So that would basically change things in a very positive way. And of course, now we're seeing the interest rates on the downward trend as well. So, as Arifa mentioned, interest rates are on the downward level. We're expecting a decrease tomorrow of a 0.5% decrease. We have an announcement again coming up in December. And
we got to keep our fingers crossed for 0.5, right?
Sorry?
We got to keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, it's not known, but the
it is not known, but today analyst reports says Wednesday.
The people I've been speaking
sharp
to
cuts
high up in the banking industry are telling me that expect a 0.5 point tomorrow, and expect rates to get down to expect rates to get down to a 3% overnight rate. It's 4.1, as you know, right now. The overnight rate being the rate the banks all borrow at. So expect that to get down to 3% by the end of January. So basically next year we're going to be seeing interest rates down 2.5, or maybe even lower, and we will likely see things really take off in the spring market, where, as you mentioned earlier, we're already seeing multiple offers coming back to the resale market. But when we look back at history, if you went back to any strong market and you said, when's the best time to buy? Right now there's 20 multiple offers. When I try to buy resale, I can't get my hands on new pre-construction condos when a building's launching. When's the best time to buy? Well, you would say when it's a buyer's market, when things are slow and no one's buying. So during the banking crisis of fall of 2008, or during Kathleen Wynne's horrible announcement in February of 2017, those were the best times to buy, when no one else was buying, right? So the window is still open now for the best time to buy. You can still have a bit of choice when you buy resale real estate. You can still have some choice and get a good deal both in resale and buying a new condominium. So really now is the time to contact a trustworthy agent, like Harifa here, or like your own local agent.
Or you
And-
can go on the site as well.
Yeah, and now is the time to buy, because when we get to March of next year and the market is in full flow again, then it's not going to be as good as it was today. And we know with immigration, with 2.2 million new Canadians this year and last year, we know that we're not going to be able to keep up for both housing and for rent. We could see housing prices double over the next 4 years. Seriously, this is what can happen.
Another
based on how
thing
immigration-
is-
Now is everywhere, everybody's talking about whoever the buyers are, that the builders are offering a lot of goodies. What is Bristol offering?
Sure. So Bristol is offering up to 2.5% mortgage interest rate buy down, offering a 15% deposit structure spread out over 2 years, free assignment, free locker, a free special closing cost bundle valued at $5,000. So it's reduced closing costs. Parking's available, ability to rent during occupancy. We have a Rogers Ignite Gigabyte system, which is included in the maintenance fee, the highest speed unlimited internet from Rogers. We have a Kite car share program where people can rent an electric car by the hour or by the day instead of having to own a car right in the building. And of course, we have lot levy caps available as well.
I have one question, because
Sure.
I was in Burlington, Illuminus, there was a project. And I know a couple of other projects as well, where the builder did not allow buyers to rent the place. So this means if somebody buys at the Bristol, they can rent it.
They can rent it and use whichever real estate agent they'd like to use.
It's a very good thing what you answered. हुआ ये कि there was one building which was at couple of buildings का मैं जिक्र करती हूँ.
Tridel is an
Dufferin और
example.
Eglinton पे Tridel की एक example है. Luminous की मैं बात करती हूँ.
With Tridel,
तो
you have to use their agent.
Their
You cannot
agent.
use your agent, Arifa, or another agent.
I know,
You have
this-
to use Tridel's.
Yeah. Udusale did the same thing. So, number one, you could not rent it, especially in दिनों में. You could not rent it. Number two, अगर आपने rent करना है तो आपको उन्हीं का agent choose करना पड़ता है, उन्हीं की conditions के मुताबिक. तो यहाँ पर you can have your own agent. You can rent it from the day one. This is a very plus feature. This is right in the heart of Brampton downtown. सामने go train है, bus वहाँ से आती है, यानी you are in the hub center में. One more question, and I congratulate you. The medical college started with the 75 students. The first, I think, the admission was, that is 9th of October. The medical college started, and Brampton is an innovation district. There are so many good things coming on in. So there is a lot more chance for upper class tenants. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as you know, Brampton is expanding faster than any other city, thanks to, the mayor. And we're, with all these new jobs coming, with all the new the commercial real estate they're building, with all the university space they're bringing in, there's going to be a lot of new students, a lot of new employees. They're going to need a place to live. And Bristol Place is in the heart of the Brampton Innovation District, in the heart of downtown. There's going to be more demand for people to rent, which means higher rents than other properties. There's going to be more people wanting to buy because of all the new employees, which means higher appreciation than other projects in Brampton.
Thank you very much. और मैं I'll take an advantage इस moment पे जब Scott मेरे साथ हैं. The builder is phenomenal. That is Solmar is the builder. They have their projects all over GTA, everywhere. One of the finest builder, that is Solmar. इसके बिल्डर हैं स्कॉट डेवी की आंखों के नीचे, अंडर हिज आइज. यू कैन विजिट देयर शोरूम विच इज़ क्वींस एंड ओंटारियो पे आपको ब्रिस्टल प्लेस का मिलेगा. Eawaz 770 AM is your own channel, and of course my humble request is you can go direct. If it is something in it for you, that is more than anything else for me. But if you give a reference of Sazo Awaz, Eawaz, that definitely this is your own channel. This will be a great help for us as well. So you can give us our reference. Just go to the place. You can look at the towers. Both towers are there. फिर आप देख सकते हैं कि which tower. एक tower जो टावर 1 है वो 48 फ्लोर्स है, जिसमें 566 यूनिट्स है. ब्यूटीफुल प्लेस. आई रिक्वेस्ट कि एक बार विज़िट कीजिए. आप ये बिल्डिंग्स देख सकते हैं, आप अमेनिटीज़ देख सकते हैं, इर्द गिर्द की लोकेशन का आपको पता चल सकता है. तो दिस इज़ क्वींस एंड हियर ओंटारियो के इंटरसेक्शन के ऊपर. यू कैन नॉट मिस इट. गो ट्रेन करीब है, जूम करीब है, वी आर रेल बिल्कुल साथ में ही है. व्हाट एल्स यू वांट. ब्रिस्टल प्लेस. बस ये देख लें, चल के आप 2 मिनट की वॉक के ऊपर गो स्टेशन पे पहुंच सकते हैं. यू कैन गिव मी अ कॉल 647-97 आरिफा. I was not born in 97. I was born in 1900 dude. You know what is 1900 dude mean? Once upon a time. I was born once upon a time.
In the old time.
In old time.
Yeah.
So you can give me a call. Yes, that will be a great help for us. You know that it's not a radio program, it's a radio channel. And I count on you. If you are an investor and you are planning to buy a property at a condominium, Bristol Place, it is not that, but I am saying there are so many other projects which I have on. I am sold on this property, on this project. I am convinced for this project. That is the reason I am telling you. You can give my reference over there as well. Or if you are more comfortable just going at your own, just go there. This is something good for you in the long run. Thank you very much, Scott, for being with us. Anything else?
I was just going to add that we have Aaron Glen being released, another phase of Aaron Glen coming soon. So if people want special access to that, they should contact you. And that's low-rise singles and towns and semis.
Where?
And that'll be in Aaron Glen. That's just on the edge of Caledon. It's basically bordering Brampton and Caledon.
Aaron Glen, it's a condominium. It's a townhouse.
There's a group of builders building Aaron Glen. It's a subdivision that's already been partially sold, and there's a new phase coming of really good quality towns, semis, and singles, and that's probably going to be around March, April. That'll be launched. So contact Tarifa and get special access to.
So this means it is not only Bristol Place. If you want to buy a townhouse, if you want to buy a semi-detached or detached home in ये northward चला जाता है. Aaron Glen project का नाम है, जिसमें group of builders ये इसको बना रहे हैं. Towns भी हैं, semis भी हैं, singles भी हैं. When are you releasing these?
March, April.
In March, April.
And if someone needs something right away, we have a few units that have come back in Edge Tower 1 and Edge Tower 2, completely finished with a 30, 90-day closing date, whatever people need. And of course, we have Edge Tower 3 in Mississauga with a 2028 closing date.
Thank you very much. This is Scott Davie.
Pleasure.
Zurur mulaqat कीजिएगा. When are you around? Because sometimes people want to see the person who owns the project, the person who looks after the whole project. So when will you be available there? I know they will be looked after in the best possible fashion that time.
I'm always available. The easiest number to get me is 416-804-5677. I'm usually always available.
How come you gave your cell number?
Everyone has, hundreds of people have that number.
416?
Thousands of people maybe.
416?
804
5677. 5677.
My direct number, you can get.
It's a cell phone. Unbelievable. 416-804-5677. Thank you very much, Scott.
Pleasure to be here today.